Okay, most of us that pick up cameras, we're doing it because, let's be honest, at the end of the day, we really want to be shooting either films or short films, and we want people to see it. It's kind of what the whole game is, in addition to the commercial work that we're doing to make money on the side. Now, that being said, one of the key areas that you're going to have to support your independent film or short film is going to be the festival circuit. Now, I have just finished a feature film. I've spent a year on the festival circuit, and because of that, I want to share with you my now top 10 festival submission tips that I've discovered after a year of running around and showing a full-length feature film. And make sure you hold on to the end, because my very last tip, I think I'm saving at the end, but it's probably the single most important thing I wish I had known before I got started, and it makes a huge, huge difference. It seems simple before you start submitting your films. Oh, hey, and as I'm speaking at festivals, I am talking about a movie that I did write and direct. And if you want to support independent filmmakers, please, please, please do me a favor. It will be so helpful if you went. I'll have a link down below to go to americandeadbolt.com and go ahead and rent or purchase my movie. It would directly go to support independent film and keeping artists like me out there actually working in today's world. Now, before I actually get into the tips that have made a lot important to me, I think there's one kind of precursor tip that you need to do for all of this. And that is, before you even start deciding a festival run, you need to clearly define for yourself what it is you want from your festival run. Is it networking? Is it boosting the awareness of your film? Is it garnering awards for like poster material? These factors are something that you should clearly understand, and they will really, really help you further refine which festivals are better investments for you than others. And don't kid yourself, these festivals are an investment strategy for your film. You're gonna spend a lot of money submitting, driving, traveling, putting together materials for these things. So make sure before you even start, you have a very clear indication of what you want to get from your film. If you do that, that's gonna kind of set up everything and make a lot more sense as you go ahead and start your festival run. All right, now let's start off with tip number one, which is the very first step you need to do, and it's going to be a big one if you have any kind of legitimate, serious idea of submitting to festivals. There are thousands of festivals out there, and it is completely overwhelming. You need a kind of a centralized place where you can find it, and that is where Film Freeway comes in. So what I'd recommend is go to Film Freeway and create an account. This will give you a great way to search through festivals. You have lots of filter options, and it's just a way for you to be able to research what the festivals are, see the prices, and let it know what makes sense for you and where you're submitting your festivals. Now, the second tip I would give is going to be, you can take this or lead this, but if you know you're going to be submitting your festivals in a pretty kind of concise strategy, and you're already on Film Freeway anyway looking at all the things, maybe consider getting a Film Freeway Gold account. Now, this is really going to make sense if you're going to be doing a lot of submissions in a short time. Now, it's $14.99 a month, so it's not super cheap, but if you're submitting to say like any more than, honestly, 2 or 3 a month, you're probably gonna make your money back, because what the Film Freeway Gold does, it allows you, when you're submitting and applying to festivals, it takes off money. So some of these bigger festivals, you can save up to $10 at a time or more just by having a Film Freeway Gold account. So I find that if you're doing it in a pretty concerted thing, it really makes a lot of sense. If you're gonna be spreading your festival submissions over like 9 or 10 months, you know, like one a month or something like that, it may not make sense, but I definitely think it's a tip you should consider looking at. Now, my next tip is something that you really, really need to consider hardcore, and that is how you budget and strategize your spending. That means that before you even have shot a single frame of your film, you need to be planning how you're going to spend for the festival circuit, because the festival circuit does cost money. It is not free. And I found, realistically, I had an independent feature-length film. I found, honestly, a $2,000 to $3,000 budget for these kind of festival runs was pretty realistic, and it allowed me to have a fairly nice, robust run. Now, one thing you got to do when you're factoring in these costs, don't forget to factor in travel costs or hotel costs and things like that. Even gas getting to and fro. It's going to make it a lot easier when you're going and touring your short film or your independent feature film. Having these things already factored in, maybe have them in a savings account ready to go, makes your life a lot easier when you're on there. Now, my next step actually involves a process for how you're going to attack this festival circuit. And that means you really need to create a timeline for yourself on how long you want to run on the festival circuit before you start digital distribution of your film. And this is very important, because most festivals will not allow your film in if it is available for digital sales anywhere. So a festival to digital distribution timeline is going to be very, very important because that's going to allow you to make sure you get the maximum amount of value. You don't want to submit to a festival that's maybe 5 months away, and then you get there and your film's disqualified and you wasted that money. Just have a very, very clear timeline. If you want to run a film for a year, make sure that's part of your strategy in your digital release strategy and do it from the start. Save you a lot of headache. Now, my next advice is for all of us out there. All of us have this belief that we're gonna make a movie, we're gonna get into Sundance and Tribeca and Cannes and all that stuff. And the reality is there are thousands and thousands of movies out there, and it is really, really hard to get into the bigger festivals. So I would say this, yes, you can submit to Sundance and Slamdance because that's what we all dream of, but don't just submit to the big festivals. They're really hard to get into. They're very, very expensive as well. You can spend up to $150 just to enter a festival that you're one of thousands of people trying to get into. And the reality is that oftentimes there's a lot of benefit in smaller festivals. I mean, I have found that smaller festivals, they're a great chance to boost your award festivals, and your film has a better chance to stand out in these festivals. The other thing is you can find is that these smaller festivals a lot of times tend to be tailored more to what your themes and what your movie is. The bigger festivals are more commercial, but if you have a theme that or a horror movie or a thriller or anything like that, you can find a lot of festivals that tailor to that. You're gonna get an audience that really appreciate it because they're coming for that, and you're still gonna get great networking opportunities and have a much better chance of getting a return on your investment because you're gonna spend less time getting rejected by festivals and more time getting in. And this really leads me to my next point, which is spend some time on that Film Freeway account studying the festivals themselves. As I said, there are thousands of them out there, and not everyone is going to be right for your movie. There's lots of political considerations, there's a lot of just practical considerations. So all these things make a big factor in what you should and shouldn't apply to. And what's really nice about a site like Film Freeway is that you can actually go and click on each of these festivals and you can see which one you think is going to work best for your movie and the crowd you're looking for to connect for. If you have a romantic comedy, submitting to horror festival is probably not going to be your best bet, and vice versa. And my next tip kind of builds on that, which is make sure when you're looking at festivals, also look for ones you can easily drive and get to. Geography is actually going to be a really, really important part of festivals because traveling to festivals adds up really fast. Even the gas, even taking time to travel 2 or 3 hours outside of your way, well, that's a 4 to 6 hour time commitment you're giving in addition to the festival. So try and find as many festivals that are close to you because this is going to allow you to maximize your network opportunities and get the most bang out of the buck that you're getting from those festivals. Now, the next tip is actually one that if you're thinking about having a life after the festival circuit is going to be important. And that is this: a festival is a fantastic time to network with local theaters. And what I mean is if you have a festival, usually there's going to be some local theater there that is hosting it, and they're going to be very, very interested in finding products that bring people out to experience the film. If it's an indie film that has a lot of buzz, they're going to be interested in that. And taking a festival is actually a great opportunity to come back later and do a private showing that actually makes your film money. You're not going to make any money at a festival, but if you come back and do a private showing, your film can actually sell tickets and make it. And festivals are a great place to network with the actual theater owners themselves. All right, now my next tip is one that no one wants to hear, but if you're going to do the festival circuit, you just got to start off brace for it right at the beginning, and that is this: rejections will happen. Yes, you're going to get your heart broken by a festival you were certain you're going to get into, and then for whatever reason, you don't. And my big advice on this is just don't become despondent, especially at the beginning when you start applying. After having now talked to a number of film festival organizers, I kind of figured out that your film really can get rejected for any number of reasons, and some of which have nothing to do with the quality of your picture or what you're doing. It just may not work for what the program director is looking for certain messaging, or there's political things. Other than like that, that is really going to be something that's really, really important to understand. You are going to probably have films that you're going to get rejected from. That's just part of the film festival process. I would just say, if you're going to start off, accept that as part of the process, embrace it, don't lose faith, and just keep on going. Okay, and now for my single biggest tip that, man, I really, really wish I had followed this myself because I didn't. I was eager, I had a window of time I wanted to meet, and I did something you should never do. And that is this: never, ever, ever submit before your film is 100% complete. And that includes sound and color too, everyone. Now, there is just way too much competition to believe that judges will see the potential of what your film could be with its things like final sound, color, graphics, whatever it needs to be. You are going to be competing, if you're doing the festival circuit, you're going to be competing with hundreds, if not thousands, of films. You need to have the best project possible. The judges are not going to see potential. They're only going to see in what is there. And I do feel I kind of hurt myself on a couple of festivals that I applied to because I wanted to meet a deadline and I should have just said, I'll wait till next year to do that. It's a hard thing to hear because you spend a lot of time with your films and you think you see exactly what it can be, but that's you. Other people outside can't. Don't ever submit a film until it's completely finished, picture locked. But anyway, guys, after a year of doing this is sort of what I've discovered were the things I wish I'd known more clearly before I started. And I will say having a film on a festival circuit is just a really great experience for me personally so far. I've really loved getting the crowd responses. I've made some great networking opportunities, and it's definitely something that can greatly elevate your experience with your film, both in realizing what exactly you have and hopefully helping you financially as you go on to the next stages of the process. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say with this. Leave me notes and comments down below. And yeah, go out there, keep on shooting. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.